So we're a couple of weeks away from the start of this new Nations Championship, and bloody hell, boys, I am excited. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be bloody awesome. A bit chaotic, yes, but bloody awesome. South Africa against England, New Zealand v France, Australia v Ireland. You got all the best of the South versus all the best of the North. It's going to be epic. But one of the things that's really frustrating me about it is the same old shit from World Rugby that they're ring-fenced in the tournament until 2030 to stop any of the Tier 2 teams outside the top 12 from coming up into the top 12 and having a crack at the bigger nations. Which means the likes of Georgia, Portugal, Uruguay, and all of these other Tier 2 teams outside the top 12 will only get a crack at the Tier 1s in World Cup years and Lions years. And this has been the same story throughout rugby history. The Tier 2 teams have had to literally bang down the door and absolutely burn it down to get to that top tier. Italy had to do it before the dawn of the millennium when they got included in the Six Nations. Argentina had to finish third in a World Cup before they got included in the Rugby Championship. And Japan had to produce 3 unbelievable results at Rugby World Cups against South Africa, Ireland and Scotland and reach a quarter-final before they were elevated to Tier 1 status. And that's without mentioning the Pacific Island carnage that's happened at the World Cup, with Tonga beating France, Fiji beating Wales and Australia, Samoa beating Wales twice. In fact, one of them was only half of Samoa, the western side. Now, some of you might turn to me and say, Tom, I think the problem is that Wales are shit. And yeah, you may have a point. But time and time again, when these nations have been given an opportunity to compete at the top level, they have pulled the pants down of Tier 1 nations and made them look stupid. And that's in spite of these Tier 1 nations having all the money, all the pathways, and all the fixtures. Now, I don't have the revenue to bring these teams to the top table and keep them up the top there, but I'm sure as hell going to celebrate the ones that took on the biggest nations in the world and burnt them on the outside through the offload that no one expected, or crashed over with raw power to prove that talent isn't always the difference. Sometimes it's opportunity. So this series is dedicated to the minnows, the Tier 2 players that scored against Tier 1 sides, whether it was after the 100 points came on the board against Portugal, or if it was to the winning try to cause the greatest upset in rugby history. Tries scored against England, France, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Italy after 2000, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Argentina after 2007, and Japan after 2019. Because we've always sung out about the likes of Will Jordan and Brian Habana, and yes, their try-scoring records are immense, but the odds and the deck was not stacked against them in the way that it was against the likes of DTH Van der Merwe and Kenki Fukuoka. So if you love an underdog story and you want to hear more about the most prolific Tier 2 try scorers in the history of the game, drop me a follow, and over the next few weeks I will tell you all about them.